So, it's been a while, huh? This was originally going to be a video on BFDI's recent fall off, but then I went to edit it, and it was 35 minutes, and I wasn't even finished with it. So yeah, no, that video is not happening, with the original script at least, partially due to the fact they just haven't stopped releasing episodes. I just need something short, and I need to get back into making videos, so why not do Object Battle City? The whole series is barely an hour long, so this video is going to be short, which I kind of need, and also the series is about to turn 9 years old. Also, episode 6 came out. That's what drove me to make this. I'm gonna be first to the scene, so I guess I'll get into it. Spoilers, by the way, please watch it. If you don't watch it, you'll be doing yourself a disservice, because it's really good. Object Battle City started as a typical joke show with its first 2 episodes. They're both very purposefully bad, and because of that, I never actually watched them until now. I'm pretty sure this is also the reason it's titled the way it is. It's clearly making fun how a lot of object shows, especially poor quality ones, like what this is imitating, have just nonsensical word salad titles. Because seriously, what else could this mean? I'll be covering the new uploads on the Tree4 channel, just because they're the better versions. I haven't watched the old ones in a long time, but I highly doubt there's any major things I'm missing by doing that anyways. Episode 1 is pretty standard for a joke show. The challenge is a balance beam, winners pick the teams. I wonder what this is a reference to. Also, there's a vote for a prize because the teams haven't been picked. There's not a lot I can say that isn't just about the show in general. It's basically the same thing with episode 2. The challenge is to jump on a cliff and land in the safe zone filled with books, to not land in the piles of Laze's family members. I wonder where they got that from. Sloppy Trash Can's team loses, by the way. Okay, episode 3, getting into the good stuff here. This is where the style change happens, and that's what takes this show from kind of funny to really good, and I don't even know why they did this. I guess it was for the elimination, whatever. I like how with it, NPC's colors look perfectly like a crappy bootleg handheld. It's kind of weird how selective the continuity is with this. There's a lot of references to the first 2 episodes, and yet the characters act like they've always been like this. Not that it's bad, just kind of funny. The challenge for this one is to rescue evil Laze from the sun, or everyone will be up for elimination. Reminds me of something. Jokes aside, I like how even with the style change, it's still the same show. Very little got left behind here. The voices and personalities are still alike, the running gags continue, like Trackball Mouse calling people uncultured, and painting being different every episode, and the general jokiness is still there. For example, the only reason the contestants have to save evil Laze is because he's Laze's ride home. An NPC can't have him be homeless or everyone will be sad, even though I don't actually think Laze has a house. Sure, there's some in the intro, but that's not the show, and it's not like it confirms that. Also, I really like Terrible Eraser and how he's literally just season 1 Eraser quotes with hand-drawn BFDI assets for a face. Oh yeah, Bell Pepper gets eliminated and Red Jean's team loses. Episode 4. If you thought number 3 was high quality, wait till you see this. This was the first episode I watched, and then I watched number 3 months after, and then 5 when it came out. I actually remember how I found out about this show through this one. It was that some YouTuber made a community post about it when it came out, and I watched it. One is even better than the last in every way. They really cemented the show down with it. The voice performances, characters, animation, and writing are all great. Also the music. This episode's the first one to use this cool-ass intro, and yes, it's really good, obviously, though it kind of makes me wonder how much of the show was retcon with the style change, because this is making me think that CRT was Trackball Mouses, and if this is how NPC shows up in episode 1 now, how canon is this? Can we get what Mike Tyson Mysteries did, where there's just an entire episode explaining the story behind the intro? That's a joke, don't listen to me. I do like how it shows more of the setting though, that's nice. The challenge for this episode is that each team has a TV to fix, and whichever one gets theirs working first will win, and have it be the new permanent TV used for eliminations. I don't know why I like this challenge. I think it's because each team has different requirements to beat the same challenge that aren't self-decided. Also, having the results of it affect future episodes is cool, even if it's in a small way. The animation is really good, and the style is super consistent for an object show with hand-drawn limbs and faces. This is something I've noticed a lot with Teapot, where I can almost always tell when a scene changes animators, and it's really distracting. Not even like a difference in quality, just style, and it can get really bad, especially if you're familiar with someone's style. Object Battle City barely has this problem though. The most it's really noticeable is very minorly, which is good. It was primarily done by Top Hat the Hat, and that's Cherry, so if you've ever noticed similarities in their styles, this show is probably why. That's also why the animation is so great. They're both really skilled at what they do. 12 gets a lot more personality in this one compared to episode 3, where he basically does nothing. He's my favorite character, by the way, which is why I noticed this. I just like his goofiness. The last thing I have to mention for episode 4 is that the ending is pretty smartly written, with the plots coming together in a way that always amazes me whenever something does it. To explain, for this episode, to fix their TVs, Red Jean's team calls tech support, and Sloppy Trash Can's team try to find the right wires, and they win because not only do they steal a wire that just so happens to be from the tech support guy's jet ski, but because the last wire they need is really long, and Terrible Eraser has to get it out. When the rest of the team tries to grab it, it recoils and hits it's the tech support guy, just as Red Jeans TV is about to be fixed, which is really impressive. I don't know how you disguise a minor detail, which is the jet ski, as set up for a plot point. Like how? I can't do something like that. On to episode 5. This episode is probably one of the most unique Object Show episodes I've ever seen, and let me explain why here. The basic synopsis is that NPC is doing a cooking show and is about to do the elimination, but then he slips and his cartridge, which is basically his brain, flies into the bottom of a well. So the entire episode is just contestants trying to get the cartridge and put it in an NPC, and it's just unanimously considered a challenge without even a question. That's really funny. And because of this, the elimination happens at the very end, which is something unprecedented for an Object Show. Okay, fine, and I'm saying Season 2 Episode 7 did do a relatively similar concept, but in that episode, the challenge literally lasts 7 seconds and it is decided by a host. So it's still unique. Also, OBC did it better. I don't care. I think I know why they saved the elimination for the end, so I'll just put it out there. I really believe they didn't want to let any of the characters up for elimination go, even though they had to. This is further supported by the fact that in episode 6, the character that gets out still has a role in it despite that. Also because only inanimate characters had gotten out before. The challenge ends up being won by Weasley for Red Jeans team, and he gets out. That's such a good joke. BFDI Mini did the same thing almost 2 years later. They stole it! I'm pretty sure NPC being a chef and a millionaire is actually a reference to this just blatantly wrong description for OBC 3, and that's so subtle that I think I'm the first guy to have pointed it out. I still really like 12. It's revealed that he has a house underground that's full of references to himself, and not only is he completely oblivious to this fact, but everyone else finds it torturous. I really like the gag of this clock being stuck at 12:12. It's way too good. One last thing for this episode is that it has a musical sequence again, and this also goes for episode 6. I feel like this keeps happening to let McGodson show his musical talent, and it's completely justified. This show's montage and credits tracks, as well as the voting screen music that I'm not sure I want to say out loud, are so memorable. I don't think there's ever been an Object Show where music is made specifically to fit a scene and is never reused. There was even songs made exclusively for trailers. That's so cool. And it was all done in Audacity? How do people make music? Episode 6. This one just came out, and I couldn't be more excited to go over it. So, I've run out of transitions. I'm just gonna start talking. First off, what does this title mean? Is this a reference to something? Because I don't get it. Same thing with episode 3. I watched this one after watching all the previous ones to write this video, and I don't know if it was because of that, but I feel like there was a lot of continuity references in here. Like, oh my gosh guys, that's the show that played for 3 seconds in OBC 5, and OBC's 1 that hasn't made an appearance in the new style outside of the intro. End of this joke.
Oh, Mike Gillenberg! Aunt R?
Hello, Sonny boy.
Wow! First NBC, and now you guys too.
I know what that's referencing. This episode starts with Piggy Bank's first line in 6 years. What took him so long? That was surprising though, and it's not even just 1 line, it's 3. NPC's voice acting is really damn good. I'm not too sure why, but it just sounds really cool and relaxed and slick, especially for this elimination here. Speaking of which, I like how CRT gets a lot more character in it, despite not speaking and not having limbs. With all these good expressions and being a CRT, they really remind me of Burnbot from Brain Dump. I had to mention it. The elimination is revealed through NPC peeling a sticker with the total votes off to show parts of a pie chart. I can't remember any other Object Show than BFDI having a pie chart. I do like how it's through a sticker stuck to a TV though, almost as if this is just turned into NPC's arts and crafts project. Same with the voting screen being on a science fair board. I just like the concept of doing that. The contestant who gets out is Trackball Mouse, and Sloppy Trash Can wins the prize of the TV NPC smashed on the ground, grabbing the least votes. I haven't mentioned that this is a mechanic of OBC, but that's because it's just a vehicle for jokes, although this was when I realized they've always been useless because Sloppy Trash Can doesn't even get the TV. It's also the first least votes prize to not be a food. The challenge for this one is to come up with a better team name than the other team, which is, sure, a pretty basic challenge, but it's made so much more interesting through the fact that NPC made this guy rain letters that have to be used in those team names. I like that each letter is in a different style, but it's kinda lame that the team names don't keep that aspect. However, having the team names change midway through a series was a great idea. It makes it feel like a new stage in the game, even though nothing's been altered. The caveman from episode 5's montage just exists in the real world now. I saw some people say his appearance in that was foreshadowing to this, but I think it was generally just a detail the crew wanted to reference and wasn't actually planned. I'm a big fan of the fact that the chase sequence uses a goofy old 3D simulation like early BFDIA. That's just a fun thing to do. I was so happy when they brought that back in 23. In the end, Red Jeans team, the Gag of Binkies, has a worse name compared to Sloppy Trash Can's team, the Nut Standers, so they lose. Last thing I have to say is I really like the credits song. It feels very triumphant, and with the lyrics being about the episode taking 2 years to make, it really feels like the creators telling the viewers, thank God, the episode's complete. We haven't given up yet. And that's it. That's the episode 6 review. I'm not gonna go to the conclusion yet, though I want to try something. So, predictions. That's what I'm known for, right? Going forward, in some object show review videos, I'll do a prediction for the next episode of whatever I'm talking about, if I can come up with one. I've decided upon this concept because I'm sure you all want more predictions, judging by the view count here, and I do like doing them because no one does it my way. You're lucky to get an elimination prediction, but sometimes teams and UFE predictions or story predictions? No! But I don't want to just pump them out every time an object show I like puts out a new episode. That feels kind of sloppy to me, so I might as well work the predictions I want to do into the videos I also want to do, if you're all okay with that. If you're watching this and want to skip this part, just go to this timestamp. Okay, we're good? So I made another chart to explain this is the contestant, their placement in each of the 2 episodes they were up for elimination in out of the 5 currently remaining, and their average placement out of those 2 episodes. The one with the lowest average is who I predict to be out, so I'll go through it one by one for episode 7, where the Gagabankies will be up for elimination. First safe is a 3-way tie for first place, with 12 Red Jeans and Painting having an average placement of 2nd place. But out of those 3, going off episode 5, I'm thinking 12 will be first, Panning will be 2nd, and Red Jeans will be 3rd. And out of the bottom 2, Hat's gotta be out. Sure, Trackball Mouse was also out for being a purposefully annoying character like Lays, but Hat's been bottom 2 twice. But who's gonna lose in OBC 7? Who do you think? Even if they're not up for elimination though, I'll still go through the Nut Standards average placements for when they do get up for elimination. Keep in mind that this is probably way less accurate than the other one, because not only is half the day I'm using from 6 years ago and wasn't done through Google Forms, but Discard and TARDIS got exactly the same amount of votes in episode 3, so I don't know how to track that. First save, Sloppy Trash Can. Second save, Terrible Eraser. And since Discard and TARDIS died in episode 3, I guess that just leaves Gatorade Powder. Damn, I'm gonna have to wait 4 years to see this pay off. Conclusion. So to summarize, Object Battle City is amazing. It's definitely a favorite object show of mine, and making this video made me appreciate it a lot more. I just like these types of object shows that start out jokey and then turn really good, and I think OBC is a perfect example of that. Seriously, every episode has been better than the last. It takes a lot of object show tropes and puts them in a completely different direction. A show minorly improving in art over time, it just gets completely overhauled in the middle of an episode. An elimination being done before a challenge. Episode 5, the opposite happens, and the challenges in OBC are almost always twists on ones from, or ones you'd see in other object shows. The only real bad thing about it is that there's a 2-year gap between each episode. Look, I know, quantity over quality and all that, but there's a difference between something being worth the wait and something being so good that I don't wanna wait. I'm sorry if that makes me sound entitled, but thinking about this show ending a decade from now is making me existential and sad. But still, this shit is so underrated, dude. Did you know that the people who worked on it all had voice roles in one? It's kind of fitting, honestly, because if it was more popular, I could really see this having an innovative effect on object shows like how one did, only in a competition sense and not a story sense. And that's why I'm making this video. I need more people to know about it. Please watch it. Okay, bye. I forgot to bring up the fact that whenever I go to Mary Brown's, which is a Canadian chicken place I like a lot, I always think about it. Maybe that's the real reason I feel so fondly about this show. My brain coincidentally associated with something I actually like, and it's some weird bias. What the fuck am I going on about? I need to end the video already.